Right, question number 2. What do you do with a prophecy? Everybody knows the answer to that one. You put it on the fridge door or in the back page of your Bible and you ignore it. That was a joke. Okay, it's a really good question actually. What do we do with prophecy? Hey, I'd really like to do some teaching on that sometime. That would be a good video series on processing the prophetic. You know, it's one thing to get revelation. It's another to have interpretation of the revelation. And it's another to then say, Lord, give me application. So here's a few quick keys. I'll try and give you 5 that would help you. Number 1, write the word down. See the vision, write it down, make it plain that those who read it can run with it. So I would actually write it down, record it if at all possible, write the thing down, and then I would, number 2, read it. But I'd actually back away emotionally. I think sometimes what happens in personal prophecy is we get a word and we feel all like pumped up. Wow, you know, if I call you out in my church this Sunday and give you a word over you, you're going to feel wow and emotionally high. And then sometimes what happens is we're running on the emotion of that for a few days, but we're not actually really engaging with the content of what God said. So I would, number 1, write it down or record it or whatever it is. But even I like writing. Writing makes an exact man, Lord Bacon said. So I think writing things down is good. Number 2, what I would do is try to come back to it a day or 2 later when you're a little bit distant emotionally from the moment, and then read it. And read it through a different lens than the one you had on when you received it. Read it objectively. At times we half hear things or we hear what we want to hear. I would actually read what's actually read over there, and I would go through a process where I pray over it. So maybe that's number 3, pray over it, ask God questions. Lord, what does this mean? I would be asking God questions like this. What does this mean? What does it signify? What are the conditions in this word? Sometimes God's saying, if you will do this, I will do this. And all people hear is God saying, I will do this. You know, God doesn't say, I will heal you. He says, come and trust in my promises and I will heal you. So we have a way of half hearing things at times. So I would be praying through, what does it mean? What does it signify? What are the conditions? What are the things God will do? What are the things he wants me to do? Are there time constraints on this word? Are there things that are waiting for other people to happen in this word? I would pray through as well. This is a really good key to discerning prophecy. I want to pray through, Lord, are there areas where I'm reading this through my filter, the lens of my history, my past, my expectation, rather than yours? For instance, God spoke to Joseph and gave him a really accurate visions, but Joseph read that through the pride of a young man. My brothers are going to bow down to me. I'm a man. You know, I'm going to be the head honcho. And God was really trying to show him his prophetic future about him laying down his life for his brothers and serving his brothers and that sort of thing. So I would be praying through a word and saying, Lord, what does this really say? Let me give you number 4. This is a really great one. This took me years to get this one. I would pray through a word and say, Lord, what is this word not saying? Because we know in part, we see in part, we prophesy in part. But when we see face to face, we'll see fully. So whenever you get any word from God, you're not getting everything. You're not getting the whole picture, the whole piece. But at times, we should use a word as a springboard to say, Lord, what are you not saying, but you're willing to say if I ask you? And to say, Lord, show me the gaps. Don't let me fill in the gaps myself. Lord, I'm okay with mystery, but some question marks. It's like God's giving you a jigsaw puzzle and he only ever gives you some of the pieces and he wants you to seek him. He says, you'll find the other pieces when you seek me with your whole heart. So I think to not fill in the blanks ourselves, but rather go to the Lord and say, Lord, what are the blanks? Hey, the 5th key I would give you here as well. This is a really good one. Often we get a word from God and we're thinking, great, sometime in the future, God will give me a husband, wife, give me a car, give me a ministry, make me proud, whatever the word is. And we look at that in time and space and think one day this will happen. And what I think we forget is that God has a watch on it that doesn't have hours, days, minutes, seconds, years. It has seasons. And I think a great prayer to pray as you look at a prophetic word is, Lord, what do you need to do in me that this may happen? What do you need to get rid of in me that this may happen? What do you need to bring in me that this may happen? Who do I need to grow into that this may happen? What are the relationships, the horizontal, the brother, sister, the ministry? What are the relationships around me you need to accomplish that this may happen? And the last one is this: Lord, what is the relationship I need to have with you that this might happen? So at times God's given you a picture, and rather than us saying, God, do it, we should be saying, Lord, work in me that which pleases you. Do in me the thing that will get me to that place. Guys, I'd encourage you to go back and listen to some of those points again, because there's some really powerful points I've just given you there. Awesome.